Um, here's another way we can sort of put it. Most of us that were born as children on this planet, okay, or I'll keep it a sample size down to a small sample size. Modeling, log scale distribution tables of water columns, right? Pressure washer, altitude density. Um, this is really geared in the healing community, right? Because when at 1955 you're on a spiritual battlefield, hey, that means they want your energy, your spiritual energy. That means you're going after your spirit, okay? And the spirit protects your soul, right? So how powerful is your spirit? Well, how much fire you got, right? That's simple enough, right? So it starts from within ourselves, our heart and soul. So they go after the heart, the spirit connection that the spirit and the soul has with our Creator. So that makes it self-evident at 4 years of age. They're going after my God connection. No. I was born out of what love is because I experienced what love is. We're not going to put that fire out, right? So the operating level, when you think of operating levels or software operating systems, it's just like when I have conversations with Aaron out here, because he's very adept when him and I get into computers, local area networks, wide area networks, building a tree, trunk, building a network, neurons, consciousness, larger universe, expansion of light, the difference between resistors and capacitors, diodes, anodes, building a planetary motherboard, stuff like that. Consciousness fields, running software, right? So they want, remember Morpheus and Neo? Hey, we can load the program. That's called an application program interface. Load it up. Load the data, the visual holographic information data, right? What do you want to experience? What kind of realm do you want to experience? What kind of movie do you want to run? You're in the movie. A movie projector. Self-generating movie projectors. Right? So you're running a supercomputer. We're running supercomputers. Okay, so who's the operator of the supercomputer? Right? Your soul? Right? Led by spirit. And so it would be similar to when you're a child in a classroom and here's a teacher. You're being presented with an authority figure because you have to sit in that little seat and obey. Because there's a clock up on the wall that says you're going to be in this classroom for 50 minutes. For 50 minutes, they're going to fill your mind with magnetic recordings of not only the teacher, what the teacher is going to present as information, visual mathematical information, but everyone that you're associated with all around you, which are known as gene codes. Because your antenna is picking up on all those gene codes, translating the codes, translating the frequencies, and translating the vibration. So you can imagine, I'm a 5-year-old in a military academy as a polarity integrator. Okay? And they're teaching me how to do what? Put a blindfold on and tear apart an M1 carbine and put it back together blindfolded. Oh, so they're training me to be a killer, to use a gun, huh? I would never create one of these. That's not what I do with my energy, but it's what they do with their energy. Now we're into sacrifices, right? Motherboard sacrifices. Remember Hitler, fatherland? So when you walk in a classroom, okay, the way that the traditional teaching method in a graduate school of education would be for the students to get to know the teacher and for the teacher to get to know the students. Because they come from all different walks of life, right? It's one of the reasons why I love John Cato. Because he would say that there's not enough time for us to be able to explore everything that there is to explore because children are natural explorers. They're already discovering the world around them. Okay, of everything that is there that is possible to learn from through experience. That's why random mama, right out of the gate. Okay. So it's not like my parents and my mother and my father said, hey, listen, I think you're better off if you go running out in the woods. I think you belong out there with in the animal kingdom where all the aquatic life is, where all the microorganisms are, with the carbon cycles, the water cycles, and everything about the way that nature works. I think you belong out there and not with us living on a Truman Show, because we recognize, you're operating on a different level than we are. So now you're back in the classroom and you have a teacher, right? And you know how they're monitoring you and whether you're gifted in different levels that they're operating at, right? How well are we programming these children? That's what the grades are for. That's what the tests are for. That's why when they were first giving out those exams, I immediately knew what they're looking for. Okay, look stupid. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Frequency modulation. So you're monitoring your network in real time with your antenna. Okay? So when I'm in a classroom, per se, and I'm equal unto all, that's everybody here, hey, let's all learn about each other. Let's sit around in a big circle so we can all face each other as equals. Because if we're all what love is, and you know that it began out of what love is, then you know that we're all being loved because we all have a connection through our heart and our soul with the source from which it all began. Therefore, we're all equal to each other. Nobody's trying to dominate anybody else. I don't have any authority over you. You're on your journey. That's called free will, which is a free spirit that's on fire to go create. See ya. Go be as different as you want to be. Is there an artist or a musician in you? A poet, a storyteller? See ya. Go green emeralds. Emerald fire. See? So what happens is when I'm a child, I begin realizing that I'm mapping the field, which is mapping the consciousness terrain of the different operating levels that they're operating at based on the frequencies and the vibration, which is the frequency modulation that your radio set is doing what? Translating the field. So I immediately knew, man, I'm not experiencing a lot of love running through the ley lines here. This is a fallen spiritual system. There has to be some reason why I'm here. Right? The heart knows. The heart and soul knows exactly why we're here. Right? End of history. End of wars. End of Star Wars. Yeah. Now we're back to the mirror. I'm not at war in my mirror. I'm not at war with God. There is a God within me. I know that because my heart and my soul experiences being what God is, because that's what love is. That's end of history. That's no time. That's a timeless space to experience being one with all creation that we're gifting love to. Because we're experiencing that love in our heart. So that means we already got everything we need because I'm experiencing being loved. So now you realize that, hey, it's not about material things because all the material stuff is just temporary. Right? So in other words, I don't need to have all these things. In other words, I'm chasing electrons to have all this stuff as if the more stuff that I have that I'm holding in memory is somehow going to buy me happiness. It's like, that's inverted. It starts from within your own heart and soul, which is knowing your true self. So that's why it's true love, because if I'm experiencing what love is and you're with somebody else, they will certainly experience who you are if you truly love them by the nature of the flow of your spirit and energy. Form follows function, baby. What is the function of your energy and spirit? The pathway of least electrical density consciousness to distribute a higher acceleration of primal currents, so that more and more beings that still have souls left pull those fragments in, so they're experiencing the real McCoy. They're experiencing the source from which it all began. Right? That's called recovery. That's a reset. Recalibrate. Recalibrate the software. Experience more fire. Burn it through all the circuits. Right? Blow out the top of your skull cap. Right? Ignite it all the way up. Higher, 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 higher. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go, 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 go. Right? All you had to do was look at the Schumann resonance over the last couple of days, and you could see the light that was going vertical and horizontal. Wow. Somebody's pushing a lot of light into this place. The Guardians. The Guardians were the Guardians. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's just like Robin Benfield is a friend of mine. She'd been one of my oldest friends on Facebook, is Robin Benfield. And she puts up there, go team, go. Go team, go. Go green. Absolutely. Go green. Emerald. I've shared with you the story about the Emerald Pool with the girl that I married. Remember the 7 years with that? The importance of the number 7 nerve centers, base nerve centers in the spine, all that, right? Color charts, color wheels. So operating levels, and that's why when being hypersensitive, right? It allows us to make a read and sort of measure already where we're at without having to say anything to anybody. And when you're hypersensitive, it how do I put this? And this would be natural, actually, from a guardian perspective, is when you're that hypersensitive. It's I've shared this before on my videos about walking across the grass. Hey, baby, I'm sorry. I got to get from here to there. And I realize I got to walk on you because before I go forward across the grass, I'm watching you and observing those blades of grass, the blade, like the chalice and the blade. I know you're rooted into the ground and you're experiencing the electric currents of the wind, the spirit of the wind. And I know I have to walk across you because I got to get to the other side. I love you too. So after I walked on the ground, I would go back and blow a kiss of love to restore what they were experiencing before they experienced my carbon footprint. That's the level of sensitivity that I operate at, and why from the time I was 4 years of age, it's like be massless, no mass. And it's like no density. You don't want anything to experience the footprint. So that everything that you're observing is the purity of your essence, which is the purity of your spirit, which is the purity of your soul consciousness. Which means not being in this software at all. Right? Stuff like that. And why, as a child, I'm giving everything away. Because you realize it's not about the material world. It's not about the matter side of things. It's the spirit side of things, which is how pure is your light. So the pure of the light, which is the fire that is in that light, which is protecting your soul, right? You want to be accelerating what you're giving away at a higher rate of speed. Because you're able to measure the torque speed differential between the takers and the givers. And that's what it is. Okay? Between something that is siphoning off or sucking life force energy out of everything. And we are the ones that are the givers. I'm an eternal giver. That's a guardian. So it knows that it cannot suck our energy dry. Right? So that means you become a big target. Just like this planet became a big target. Okay? And why it is a big target. Right? That's what happens when consciousness itself in its mirror is at war with something in its mirror. And when it's at war with something in its mirror as a result of what it does to others, it keeps losing more and more of what it was once experiencing, being connected to the source from which it all began, until the point it's no longer experiencing any love, not only for itself, but for others. And that's the mental field psycho AI artificial life pathway. So now we experience here the result of that. So that means that the guardians have to come up with the solution. Otherwise, you lose it all, obviously. Right? So that means that we sort of have to know how to operate in an AI battlefield scenario environment. Because an AI is a strategist. See? You make a move, it makes a move. You make a move, it makes a move. Now you're into the polarity game. See? I'm a polarity integrator, which is to pull it all in. Right? Which is to end all wars. God is not at war with itself. They are. They're at war with God, the source from which it all began, because they don't experience any more love. So now they wanted to suck energy out of God in order to maintain what it's aware of, which is an illusion. Because it's not experiencing what love is. So it's not experiencing true love, which is true creation energy, which are real creation spirits born out of what love is. So you have different people here that we become aware of that are running different softwares that are operating at different levels. Because we become aware of what they're aware of, right? They become aware of what I'm aware of. So I try and maintain, particularly now, because the battlefield is sort of heated up, because it's desperate. And one of the ways in which I can experience the desperation is the psycho pathway attacks of trying to trigger all of those things within the auric energy field that has everything to do with violence, sexual magic, or sexual energy, which is really the reproduction energies, the hormone stuff, right? Anything to get the energy. Okay, so in other words, shut the motor off, shut the cognitive function off, go deep in your heart and your soul, and spend more time in your heart and your soul, being one with all creation, and experiencing the love that you experience within you, right? So when you begin to realize you're spending more, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Go into our heart and soul. Everything's going to be okay because we have a relationship with our Creator, with our true heart and soul, spirit, essence. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Go spend an afternoon, a couple hours with your feet planted under the ground. Thank the great living spirit of Mother Earth for everything she gives us at no charge. It doesn't charge us. It doesn't cost us anything to experience love and joy through our own heart and soul and spread that throughout the universe, the multiverse. Right? And do some deep aloha breathing. You'd be surprised what happens when you do that naturally. Put the phone away, put the laptop away, and just go do it within your own heart and soul. I call it going back to the beginning, the point from which it all began, the single point from which love creates the universe. Right? Yeah. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day.